show matches, so I'll leave that up to the players. And I don't know much about either of these players, so spawning in the top right side we have our yellow Terran Animantra, and in the bottom left hand side our red Terran Dreadlord. Now, something that's interesting about this is since they did decide to go with Frost and it's a 4-player map, they got the cross spawns, so if one of them decides to be a bit more greedy, that'll be a good thing for them. But then again, they could also not scout them or get scouted first and then have it blow up in their face. But I'm not 100% sure what either of these players' tendencies are, so it'll be interesting to see what it is that they decide to do going down the road. No shenanigans yet. Everyone's just being normal. They're both basically at the same time on the supply depots, like a second apart from each other, literally. And it does look like Animantra's got it queued to scout the top left next. Maybe. Okay, he canceled it, so we'll see what he decides to do. And Damon appears to be back. So I'm going to have to put myself on busy. Very unprofessional. Okay, well that should be the end of that, as I'm on busy, so I shouldn't get any more messages, I don't think. Alright, so here in the game we have 2 barracks going down from Dreadlord, which should be interesting to see what he decides to do with that. And Animantra appears like he will be going for a Reaper open. That would be my guess, judging by the amount of gas that he's about to collect. Okay, no, he's going for a Marine. Proving me wrong. Alright, so it looks like Animantra will finally actually find Dreadlord. The problem with this is the SCV should be scouted out immediately by this Reaper, or killed by the Reaper. And I do believe he saw that extra barracks. Let me just check to make sure. And no, he actually misses the barracks. So wait. Ah, he found it. Okay, so he now knows that there are 2 racks on the field, and he's gonna keep pumping out Reapers. So that should be interesting to see. He's cut SCV production. Okay, now he's resumed, but he's also a little bit supply blocked. And in Animantra's base, we have a factory on the ground. Should be interesting to see what he decides to do from there. He could go ahead and get a starport afterwards, but with there being two racks on the map, I would imagine he'd want something. But then again, Dreadlord did just now realize that he's cross map spawns, and he does opt to go for the starport, so that's gonna be good. And since he's taking a second gas, I think we could see a cloaked Banshee here, and that Reaper barely gets away. If he'd have got that, he'd have been gold. So, judging by Animantra not doing anything with this Tech Lab factory yet, I imagine he's gonna swap them and get a cloaked Banshee, or maybe just a regular Banshee. But either way, he's going to be getting a Banshee. And these 3 Reapers are gonna hop in here and be really annoying. And 3 Reapers can actually fight some Marines. Oh, but you don't want to do that. There goes 1. Back to 3 Marines. Alright, so he is starting Cloak. So it'll be interesting to see how he handles this. He's just dancing his Reapers around, because why not? And we see here Dreadlord starting the eBay. This is for the turrets that he's going to need. The problem with this is he doesn't even have a factory yet, so he's not going to be able to get to his starport to get a Raven or a Viking or anything. He's going to be reliant completely on turrets, scans, and Marines, which is not always the best method of dealing with these cloaked Banshees. So, Animantra is still just on 3 production facilities, and there's no sign of a CC from him anywhere. However, Dreadlord's command center is just finished, so I'm not 100% sure how this is going to play out, because basically Animantra has to do something with that Banshee. I mean, he's going to be really far behind on the economy, because you've already got two orbitals on this, well, basically two orbitals on the side of Dreadlord. And with that, you're just now starting your second command center. And you've only got 3 production facilities, so it's not like you've been making an army to go all in him or anything, which would not be a good idea anyway. So he's just producing tanks and marines for now, but I would like to see him get more production, I think would be a good idea. So where'd that Banshee go? Surely he hasn't lost it. He might have lost that Banshee. Well, that Marine has a kill, so I'm thinking he might have killed that Banshee, because I don't see it. So losing that Banshee without doing really any damage, because he's still got a decent amount of saturation here, and then he's working on this one. Okay, he is actually rallying them straight down there, and he's just now getting a starport, which is okay because Animantra does not have any medevacs out, which is what the early starport would have given him an advantage with. But now we're going to see the siege tank probably siege right about here or so, and he's going to start a siege on this natural expansion. And these SCVs that he just pulled to repair aren't going to do too much because of splash damage, or actually they're not taking any damage, which is nice. So he's going to at least force those Marines off the line, or those SCVs off the mineral patches for now, to come repair this bunker, because if he doesn't repair the bunker, he's going to lose the bunker, and if he loses the bunker, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But as you can see, Dreadlord can't really do anything right now because these Marines will just get chewed up by those siege tanks. That was a really big blunder on his part to actually move those Marines in front of this bunker. And at this point, it's looking pretty grim for the Red Terran here. He could still be okay if he just got a siege tank up here, which he's got a siege tank on the way, but he's got it rallied down there, so I don't know what he's going to do. And he's got 2 medevacs, but really he needs a couple Vikings. Oh, well, he's about to chase down the army. That unsiege is really unfortunate, and that's actually exactly what Dreadlord needed, because now he's actually ahead quite a bit in the supply here. And as you can see from the production tab, STEM just started for Animantra, so the fact that he doesn't even have STEM yet and Dreadlord does means that if they get into a heads-up fight, Dreadlord, as long as he doesn't run headlong into some siege tanks, he's gonna win. So we've got another factory coming down here for Animantra, and not sure if this is meaning anything yet or not, because he's only got 2 racks and 2 factories, so that's not really keying off if he's going into, well, he's obviously not going into mech because he's getting +1 attack upgrade for his infantry, but there's always possibilities. And I still don't really see, I know he doesn't really have the money to, but he does need to get some medevacs out other than this one. And looking here, there's 3 medevacs with this army with 2 siege tanks, and he's actually lifting up, he's sending a drop to the other side, and I don't really think he can spare the units. I mean, these 2 siege tanks will provide a lot. Like, he won't be able to just stem in and try and attack. He will lose everything if he tries that. But he could lift everything and drop it up here, and then he would be in a lot of trouble. Okay, so he's gonna drop 1 medevac in there. He's about to lose all of those Marines. He's got this medevac full, and he's about to lose that medevac. If he loses that medevac full of units, oh, he's so lucky that Animantra didn't actually focus down that medevac, because it was full. And here comes the drop. Should be able to accomplish quite a bit, actually, considering all he's gonna have is this tank. There, he's forced an evacuation of this base at the very least, and he might get another Viking. Yep. So, well, that's good for him. And now these SCVs really do need to get back to work. There's a third CC already out for Dreadlord, and Animantra just now starting his third. So I feel like because of the way he opted to start, he's been behind. Seeing as the Banshee didn't really do anything, it wasn't worth the investment that he made. But the problem now is that he's about to lose all of this. If he loses, oh man, he's about to lose all of those Marines. Okay, so he gets out of that with 2 medevacs and 2 Marines, and this medevac has essentially no health, so if something hits it, he will lose it. But on his side, things are looking alright. He's got a much better economy than his opponent, and he's got some SCVs transferring down here. So he's still got some SCV or some Marines in the main just to watch out for those drops, but he's gonna go ahead and move that out now. Which he's still pretty limited on production, considering he only has 3 racks, 1 factory and 1 starport. And I feel like with the amount of money he has, he could have a little more, at least 1 more barracks or something. And it looks like Animantra is actually going to move around this side, and I don't think he knows about this base yet, but if he doesn't, he's about to find it, because there's no way he won't see it. Or actually, yeah, he has to know, because the sensor tower gives it away. There's no reason he would put a sensor tower without having a base there. So it'll be interesting to see what he opts to do. Okay, so he's gonna drop in the natural and then send this main attack into the third, and now he's going to Dreadlord's gonna have to split up his army really to deal with both sides at the same time. And if he's not, he's gonna lose the CC actually. Yep. That's probably, yeah, that's gone. That's a huge blow to Dreadlord's economy. He really needed that, because now Animantra actually has his third, and there's a drop idling over there. I'm sure it's because he's busy focusing on this. He can't afford to lose these tanks. He's actually setting up another drop to come over here into the natural, and there's no turret here this time, so there's nothing really to stop it. And Animantra is just multitasking extremely well right now, forcing Dreadlord really to try and pay attention to more places at once, and he's kinda crumbling here a little bit. But he will come back and clean up this drop, and he's gonna get the medevac too, I believe. Yep. So Animantra comes out with a supply lead, and he's got the command center over his opponent. So now we see the opposite of how it was going into that fight. Animantra is now up a base with a much better economy than Dreadlord. And Dreadlord still hasn't even started another command center to replace the one he just lost. Very low medevac count still from Animantra. It's kinda weird that he doesn't have at least 4 medevacs for this army. We'll see how that ends up affecting the game here in a little while. He is getting that upgrade for his +1, and now he's getting +2 weapons upgrade for his bio. Now, in this fight, basically, whoever charges in will lose. So, don't do that. But these 3 Vikings from Dreadlord give him air superiority. So if he kills off this 1 Viking, really what Dreadlord should probably do is move not all of his siege tanks, but he should have pulled like the back ones up. But he's actually just going to disengage altogether, which is also an okay thing to do as long as you don't just run in and lose everything. So we finally see Dreadlord start to get this 3rd command center back up and running, and he's going to need that. And he started 3-2 for both players here. The difference being that Animantra actually has +1 already for his tanks, and I don't believe. Nope. Okay, yeah. Dreadlord already has +1 for his tanks too, but he has not yet started +2. It will be good for the engagements. The tanks from Animantra here in a little while will be doing a lot more damage than Dreadlords. The sky superiority still belongs to Dreadlord, I believe. Oh man, those tanks already being sieged up just shoot up all of those Marines. You can see it in the supply deficit now. Animantra just dropped so hard in supply, and now I feel like the advantage he had, he lost. And really, I mean, it doesn't matter because he overwhelmed those tanks, but it would have been better if he'd have just loaded up one or two of the medevacs with Marines and then dropped them on top of the tank instead of running into them. So, three Vikings to what appears to be none. So I still give air superiority over to Dreadlord, even though he hasn't really had to do much. And he's setting up a siege point here, but he has no Marines, so that's something he needs to be careful about. Okay, he's starting to get some Marines over here, I think. It looks like he's gearing up to... Oh, he just lost a Viking. That's not good. Okay, so he looks like he's just going to try and bum rush him from the side, which does not end up going well for him. Because as you can see now, Animantra has got reattained his supply lead. And having this third base has really helped him because, well, that and the fact that he's spending his money, because Dreadlord has a 12k or 1200 bank, and he's not really spending it all that well. So here's going to be the big factor of this. If this drop, okay, I was about to say, I don't know why he would do that, but he could drop on top of these tanks and make them friendly fire each other, but I don't think he's going to do that. And basically they're just going to sit here. That's how this is going to probably play out until someone decides that they want to lose everything and just run in, because that's what would happen if either of them tried running in right now. The thing is, there's a fourth command center on the way for Dreadlord, but looking at his main, he's got a lot of idle SCVs sitting over here, and he's only got 4 production facilities really. There's a little push over here, so now there's no Vikings on the field. We have +3 attack on the way for Animantra's siege tanks, while +2 is starting for Dreadlord. These tanks are going to get picked off, and he can't really afford to lose anything. As we can see, Animantra is almost maxed, while Dreadlord's sitting at about 140 supply. So I don't know. Since Animantra is just backing off, it would probably be wise for him to go ahead and take another base, which I don't believe he has the ability to do because he has no extra command center. But he really does need to get another command center up and put one somewhere. There's still this drop over here by Dreadlord just kind of sitting here. I'm not sure if he forgot about it or if he's saving it for later. So Animantra is just kind of walking through the middle right here. He's got to be careful not to walk into this tank fire. Even though there is only 5 tanks there. Now there's a lot more tanks, but I almost feel like if he came in from the top again, he would actually be, or if he just dropped something over here, he would actually be able to do something. And he's probably going to pick off. Oh no, that is not what you want to do. That's how he's going to let Dreadlord back into this game, walking all those Marines into that tank fire. There's one tank down. We'll see if he manages to pick off any more with the siege. I'm kind of unsure. I guess he's probably going to go check for a 4th, which we know is not there. But of course he has no way of knowing that until now. But this drop just happened over here, and he's picked off a couple of tech labs, which is kind of annoying because that stops the siege tank production from that. And we've got another base, another drop over here in the main of Dreadlord, which this really sucks for him because now he has to run something back over here, anything. And that really kind of weakens his siege point that he had. Not that it matters because Animantra has already left. But I don't know, Dreadlord seems to be falling apart at the seams here. He's losing a lot. And he didn't even clean up this drop like I thought he would. Man, This is just not good. He's about to start, and he GG's out. And that will put Animantra up 1 game over Dreadlord.